everybody. Welcome to Boss Rush Podcast. I am your host, the exciting and enlightening Eddie V. Yes! Joining me as always, Mr. Wife Wisconsin, Mr. Jesse Douglas. And of
How's it going?
It is Bossman himself, the one, the only, Mr. Corey Derrick.
Hello, I'm happy to be here. It feels like it's been, first of all, it's been a really long week. But second of all, it feels like it hasn't really just been the three of us in what feels like 6 months.
Yeah.
It's probably literally
since before quarantine.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love everybody that we've had on.
Yeah.
I want to keep doing everything that we're doing, but sometimes it's just like, I feel like we need a new podcast where it's just us three. just throw it out there.
That's kind of how we was when we did the just on the spot power block. It was just us two, and we were just like, we don't really have nothing planned, but here's two stories. Okay, here go a long show.
Yeah, no, I know. And that show ended up being almost 2 hours long. So, but like, you know what I mean? I'm glad it's us. You know. I'm glad it's kind of, this episode is kind of back to us, just kind of laid back, hanging out, talking about games, hanging out with people, watching, and see what happens.
I retweeted the what you put out, Corey, and I was just like, come join us and like have lunch. Like, let this be a midday hangout. Like, wherever the weather is, if you're stuck in the house, if you're cleaning, or if you just like driving and you got us on the car driving and stuff, like really chill and have a good time with us. I actually went to McDonald's and got a Big Mac because I was just like, when I need to go get lunch. We're talking about having lunch and everything. But everybody, we're gonna really kind of have just a really cool laid back episode. We're gonna be talking about what we've been playing. We're not gonna really be news heavy. I will say though that we'll probably be turned back to news next week. Because like there's still a lot of digital events coming on. Like we just had limited run game show. Is it next Jesse, the one that me and you watch, or is it Nikon?
Oh, Nikon, is it Nikon or something like
Nikon.
that?
Yeah, they have. I will I will recommend everybody go watch that one because they did a fantastic job. Me and Jesse was like not live chatting, but we were like messaging each other about it, and there's just like so many great fantasy and sci-fi games and stuff that really piqued our interest. I'm like, yeah, I need to get that one. Yeah, I need to get that one. And I think what we really appreciate about it, once again, that we mentioned about Microsoft, hopefully we see this on the 23rd, is that it had a great flow to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that would just like take heed, Microsoft, like flow. Have a nice flow of games. And if you want to have developer talk, don't let it be so corporate. Let it feel natural. Even if you got to edit this much, like really make it feel natural.
Their time management was on point. Like they, like I had said to you in the chat that like, they did all the things that EA needed to do. Like with EA, like it felt kind of sluggish, and like at times like maybe some of the stuff they were talking about either wasn't informing enough, or it just felt like they were just trying to like eat up time or buy time and not really saying anything. Like, I mean, I think they did a good job with the stuff for the Rogue and the Rogue Squadron or whatever game.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man, like that when they started showing all those like assets for next gen, I'm just like, what are you doing? This is nothing. Like, you might as well just held up a picture your kid drew and say this is next gen.
Especially like the motive game that they were talking about with that character with the giant sword that was literally just running on these big gray blocks. Like, I would have much rather seen like the Vidocs that they show like. They showed a couple years ago where they were showing off Amy Hennig's Star Wars game, but they were just showing artists working on the game. I would have just rather seen that again.
Yeah.
And I understand
Yeah.
I understand like COVID and everything. You can't really show that
A lot.
really, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Like they could have just. I don't know.
I think with EA for intents and purposes, I think for a lot of us we just like, okay, yeah, you are now switch titles. Let's see what you all gonna give us. And I guess the thing about it is that when third party is showing their digital showcases, show it for all systems and all platforms, or even choose between which platforms. Don't make it feel like this only really still feel about Xbox and Sony, with some Origins or some PC stuff right here and there. Just like kind of focus on everybody and deliver it in a timely manner. Like people want to see everything. I think that was really the letdown, because when we was watching the NextCon one, Jesse, they were showing stuff for everything.
Yeah, I think it's Nacon or whatever, but it's the NACON. Like, yeah, and I forget what the show is called. Was it just called the Nacon?
Nacon Experience or Direct or something like that.
Yeah.
Because when you mentioned who was the controller accessory people they teamed up with, because you was just like they're working with Microsoft.
Well, no, Nacon is the company who makes the controllers and stuff.
Yeah, but
that's why I was a little confused. Those games they were showing were just games that they got the rights to show during their show.
Right, because I think they're going to be the ones that's publishing them.
No, I don't think so. I think those are just the regular games that are coming out by other publishers. They just showed that stuff to add a little bit more to their show.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because it felt like to me, it felt like it's these small teams making these games, and Nacon is the publisher, and so they're gonna bring them out, and that's why because who would just go watch it. It was the idea because they're showing it, so I'm thinking they're the publisher of all of these games.
No, it was just
confusing
like
thing.
their main consumers who buy their products.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the kind of games that their consumers buy specialty controllers and stuff from them for. That's why they wanted to show like the simulators, because they make really good like simulation controllers. And they make some really good like specialty keyboards and stuff for more like what are they, tactic style RPG type kind of those kind of PC games,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's kind of why they were showing a lot of the like they would be showing a simulator and then a RPG type kind of PC game and then a simulator and then another of those kind of games, and they were all different, and it was a weird mixture, but yeah, because they did everything really well, it worked really well, and I think they did a really decent show. But yeah, you definitely go check that out if you haven't, because they're the ones who made the Pro controller for PS4 that looked like the Xbox controller, where it had the offset sticks that I said, if that works with the PS5, I'm gonna buy one of those because I want offset control, the offset sticks for my PS4 or 5. I mean,
yes. Before we do continue we're gonna go forward with this. This is the 5th year that Satoru Iwata passed away. In June 2014, a tumor in Iwata's bile duct was discovered during a routine physical exam. It was removed, and Iwata returned to work in October that year. The problems resurfaced in 2015, and Iwata died at the age of 55 from his compilations on July 11th. There was a lot, because he wasn't there at E3, but I think that was the year they did the puppets. So that was kind of like his last representation of E3. Physically seeing him was, I believe, that that past year E3 2014 with the Smash one. I think that was it. Um, but yeah, it today where if you guys are watching this live, it has been 5 years that he passed away. So happy Iwata to you guys. Happy Iwata to everybody who's watching. Um and I say happy Iwata Day is one of the things that I personally like to celebrate.
Mhm.
Because like yes, he was a developer. Yes, he was the president of Nintendo. And I was talking to myself, and I normally do that sometimes in the car. That I'm like, that he kind of changed not only Nintendo, but I think he changed a lot in the gaming industry. And like, he's the idea of being positive. You know, even when
Yeah.
Nintendo wasn't doing good, he took that pay cut. You know, and it was always something about him that when you seen Iwata, whether it's him holding the bananas or him coming out doing the Nintendo Directs and talking and stuff, you feel like this is the best friend. And everybody paid attention. And regardless of you like the actual direct or not, you cannot deny his presence did something.
Mhm.
And it was so positive. So like, regardless of what game you play, normally I say go ahead and play a Nintendo game or a game that Iwata. But I'm like, in general, everything that he said and represent about games, and definitely with him being a CEO and everything, it's just like he's a gamer at heart.
Mhm.
And when you're a gamer at heart, that kind of shows your passion that yes, this is a business, but we want to deliver entertainment. And in a sense, that's kind of how Phil Spencer
Mhm.
is that you see him as a gamer. He has a passion for games. And regardless of how you see Microsoft and their ecosystem stuff, you cannot deny that his presence and his word when he's doing an interview, people listen because he has a lot to say. And I think it really shows that he really cares about games. It just want everybody to be in a positive space
Yeah.
to enjoy whatever they want to enjoy. So I kind of I'm gonna hand it over to you guys. Like, do you have any words about Iwata or um,
Well, I
just any words about being positive in gaming and
well
stuff?
for me, like like it's not every company is lucky to have it, but like it's like mentioned Phil Spencer or him, like they're ultimately, to me, they're like that that Walt Disney figure that people hope that companies that they love have,
Yeah,
like that person that is just like all in and like supportive of everyone around them, whether they work with them directly or not, like you said with Phil Spencer as well. Like he's constantly, and Nintendo, them, having relationships, and him talking with Reggie on a, he'll chat with him and stuff on a regular basis. And like, just, like, they, even though they're not working for the same company or
hmm
didn't work for the same company, they still are all there for a common goal to, to make games and just have fun with it and enjoy what they do, and try to be positive about it, try to break down these walls of, like, of being, people being excluded from things. And
yeah,
like, it's like the world of gaming, like, it has come such a long way as far as like being so inclusive, like it's I think it's a great time to be alive, like in the world of gaming, like it just seems like it's getting better. And people like Iwata and stuff are like the reason why it has come to these points, like
hmm
those people like that are just these very positive, like, just influential, like, people that you can look up to and appreciate. And don't, a lot of times they don't act like they're better than anyone else, or
yes,
or anything. Like, they genuinely care about the people that they're working with and stuff like that. And, wanting to see everyone succeed, even people that are maybe working companies outside of theirs. So,
Yeah. What about you, Corey?
I mean, it's it's weird because like we always talk about how influential Nintendo as a company has been, but I think it really is kind of understated how influential Iwata was in particular.
yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people really realized how influential he was until he passed away. And I think with the Wii and the DS, obviously those were hugely influential in the world of games. And then, yeah, maybe the Wii U wasn't as influential, but it was the stepping stone to what the Switch is. I still feel that way. We talked about that before the Switch even came out, Ed, on Pal Block when we were doing the show way back then. Like, I think the Switch is the ultimate realization of what they wanted the Wii U to be, and it just wasn't. In terms of, and maybe you don't get that second screen experience the way the DS or the Wii U worked, but
Yeah.
you can still play in a handheld mode and on TV at the same at at a whim. And on top of that, just the way Nintendo still uses minimal space on their cartridges, or the way they reuse assets, or the way they program, or the way, you know what I mean, like that kind of stuff is still in the way that the realm that Nintendo works, and it's still, you can still see it when you're downloading a Switch game and you see it in the Nintendo games are all like less than 2 gigs, and then you go and download a third party game that's like 30 or 40 gigs on the Switch, or you get these games on Xbox One or PS4 that are at this point 90 to 150 gigs large, right? Like Call of Duty is a big a lot of people aren't playing Call of Duty because it's too big, right? Like it just takes up too much hard drive space. And so I think Nintendo has always been super influential that way, and just the way that people, I think, appreciate the amount of space Nintendo games take up. And I still think like Smash Brothers might be the biggest game Nintendo's made, and I think it's only 13 gigs. Zelda's 11, I think, and Mario Odyssey is like 4 or 5. So I mean, these games are relatively small, and I know they're not using 4K assets, and I know that they're not, super detailed assets to an extent, but like they're still pretty big games. Mario Odyssey and Zelda are not small games. So I just think they're really smart about asset creation, about reusing assets, changing assets up slightly so they can kind of use their memory other places. And we talk about Pokemon a lot, where he actually really reprogrammed Gold and Silver to include Red and Blue again on those cartridges. And I think that was really influential that way too. So yeah. Iwata kind of changed a lot of the way we think about Nintendo. I mean, I tell the story every year that we have this discussion, but my wife and I were in New York City at the Nintendo store when I found out Iwata passed away, and that was really it's a memory I'm never going to forget. So
like I said, I was in my friend's car crying, like literally crying, and we was going to Fridays. I was going to I had me a good couple of drinks. I ain't gonna lie. But I mean, I wasn't tore up on the floor or anything, but it was just like it really hurt me because I've not so much a celebrity or anything like that, but like I've never cried over even someone I don't know like I did Iwata. And I think it was just like, okay, this is Nintendo. This is my love and passion for Nintendo. I think it was because Iwata was just such a joy, and it felt like that joy was taken away from us in the gaming industry and just this culture and stuff. And definitely what we're seeing kind of with The Last of Us 2, the stuff going on with that. I think a lot of people don't think about the joy of what games could present, even if it's dark and depressing and stuff. I think people really forget that when joy is given to you, really appreciate it and really take it at heart, because if it's taken away from you, it's hard to find that joy again sometimes. And that depends on different people and everything. Like I keep telling y'all that if a certain developer at Nintendo passes away, I'm calling off work and I'm just going to be in my feelings for a good while, because that person means a lot, definitely to me as a person who got into games, but pretty much represented what Nintendo is and all about. And I won't mention this name because I don't want it. I really don't. Everybody know, probably who know who it is, but I don't want it. Like I know it's going to happen, but I don't want it happening soon. And I really don't. I know people have their ideas about this particular person, but I'm just like, you got me into gaming, and you are the reason why I talk about Japanese games, or I play wacky games, that I do podcasts, that I write stories, and that I nerd out with you guys and anybody else who wants to nerd about various games. It was because of this person getting me into games. I'm like, literally, if I didn't have video games because of this person, I don't know what I would be doing right now. Probably see a background somewhere, but this particular person is the reason why I got into games. And Iwata, Iwata was like, oh, he was the face of Nintendo Direct, and he was the reason why, when people thought it was weird and stuff, but it worked. Why now? The importance of Nintendo Direct and these digital presentations, why they matter and why we love them, because we all get to watch along. It can be edited in a way that it makes us happy, and we still talk about it and stuff.
Well, my one thing about, people do say, like, oh, that the good thing about the Nintendo, shows are that they're weird and wacky. But the thing is like, if you're familiar with Japanese culture at all, you'd realize that that's just normal. That's how things normally are there. And it, like, very easily they could have tried to make something that would, seem normal to us, and try to appeal in that way. But that's the great thing about Nintendo, is they're unapologetically themselves, and that's why people love them so much, is because they're not afraid to advertise the way that they would there in Japan.
Yes.
And they're not afraid to say, we don't really care what the other companies are doing. Like, we've got our way that we want to do things, and that's all we're really, we're not going to waste our energy on wondering what everyone else is doing, and that,
chasing after a trend.
Yeah, and that's, and I feel like, like, Xbox has kind of been going in that direction of just trying to focus their energy and not waste it on what everyone else is doing. Like, try to focus on what you're working on. And they've kind of been forced to, because they, with not having a lot of exclusives and stuff like that, they've really been having to focus on them.
And this is the thing about it, and you guys might agree or disagree. The stuff that Nintendo went through with Wii U, GameCube, and 64, and all of that stuff. When people thought Nintendo didn't have it, and then they bounced back with 3DS and DS, and over time they bounced back. When PlayStation 3 fell on hard times, and people were getting on Sony because 360 was set up so well, Sony was working to build themselves up, and they built themselves up into excuse me, two with PS4 and its success.
Well,
Um,
and because the PS3 ended up outselling the 360 by the end of it, didn't it?
I no, I think 360 still sold more than PS3. I
Did
think
it?
people, yeah, I think people at the end of it was getting PS3s because it was getting cheaper and stuff. But 360 was still like the leading platform for Microsoft that time. And then when all the
I
stuff came
mean,
out for Xbox,
even sorry, just to play on that,
oh,
and go off
go
of
ahead.
that. Like even if the PlayStation 3 did outsell the 360, I'm trying to find numbers, but even if it
I
did,
want
I
to
still
say that
think
they did at the end.
I think in the mind's eye, like people still think that the 360 dominated the PS3 because like it did for 5+ years, you know, and it
Yes,
wasn't
yeah.
Yeah,
until they fixed a lot of the
Uncharted.
issues with the PlayStation 3 and made it cheaper and you know had some games. To be honest with
Yeah,
you, like I mean that's when the PlayStation 3 caught up. So
Yeah, and now with Microsoft having not Xbox One being like the leading platform, and people all the stuff that came out and everything, and looking at it and the stuff, this was Microsoft downtime, like kind of hard time and stuff to rebuild to be better, and they've been working on that, with all of their services and everything, and it looks like Series X is going to be the rebound in a sense. Like Nintendo rebounded with Switch, PlayStation rebounded with PS4. I think Series X is going to be Microsoft rebound, and it's going. I feel like while we're moving to the next generation, everything is on the on the play field. So it's not going to matter who outsells who. We all have these platforms, even with PC and Steam and Windows 10 and Epic Games, maybe Stadia. Stadia has still some work to do to get back into. Stadia has to get to where it needs to be, and Google has to make sure that they dedicate time and get games to get to that level. But that's a whole nother thing. I think it's just going to be an even playing field between Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. And my thing is, it's just that I want everybody to play wherever they want to, whatever they want to play, wherever they feel like they want to play, and just be respectful. We have our motto, play games, be better, and I feel like we all could play games on every console and be better, congratulating or celebrating games on different consoles that might not be on their personal platform. Like if a game comes out for Nintendo and you are a Sony fan, congratulate Nintendo on the successful release, regardless of what the reviews are. Same with Nintendo people doing it to Microsoft and to Sony. If a third party game comes out for them, congratulate them if they are successful in everything, because it shows a different vibe in a different way we view games and attitudes. Because I mentioned earlier, like the Last of Us Part Two is the controversy and everything and how stuff is being handled is kind of sad. It's saddening. It's definitely disgusting, and it's very saddening. I'm like, we have tried for years to get away from this behavior, and we don't need to go into the next gen with that behavior. We just don't.
yeah. I like a perfect example the other day. On Twitter, someone had did an AR rendering of the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Like, how like now, like if you go online and there's like a specific like gaming monitor or something, or a
Mhm.
radio, stereo or whatever, and you want to see what it would look like, and on your desk or whatever, you can do an AR thing where it will let you kind of move it so you can see how big it would be on the surface.
Yeah.
So it was a PS5, like, I don't know, just someone who's a fan of PS5 or something, they took the pictures that everyone was posting where they're, had the two sitting next to each other to show how much taller or whatever. And so he was kind of showing off a video of him like making it look like he had both consoles on a thing, sitting there, and you go in the comments, and all it is, oh, the PlayStation looks stupid, and oh, the Xbox just looks like a trash can, and I'm just like, I just said, I think they both look awesome, and then some person commented, how dare you have a reasonable opinion. And it's just like, like, and at the end of the day, like, honestly, what it looks like on the outside doesn't have anything to do with what's inside of it, or what it can do. That goes for people. Like, what someone looks like on the outside does not, like, just, I don't know, it's just people like to make such a big deal about something so small. And so, like, I mean, a lot of people, like, I feel like that thing's gonna be, like, stashed away on, somewhere on a desk or whatever anyway. So it's not like, or even if it's that tall, a lot of people probably have to put it under their desk like they do with a PC, anyways. But, so it's, I don't know, man. It's just, I think they both look awesome, and like, I'm glad that they're so different and unique looking, that, it's not, not just trying to copy one another. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to both of them, and I think they both look unique.
I am looking forward to both of them. It's just that white thing on the PS5. I'm like, you got a cool bit of design. Just just like, and like,
yeah, and don't get me wrong, like, all those jokes have been great, and I, like, I can laugh at them and enjoy them because people are joking, and it is fun. It's always fun to do that stuff. Like, that was great during the Xbox show when the one guy had his green screen on, and he made it look like, he was in that edited picture where the fridge was just the Series X,
yeah.
Which, like, for them to just, like,
make
go
fun of themselves.
Yeah, go into the joke is just, like, probably the best thing that you could possibly do, is to just go along with the jokes, and just don't let the trolls and people win, because it's not,
Yes.
it's better to just laugh about it and move on. But
so we're going to get into some gaming get down, because Corey Bossman,
What'd I do?
you played some Destiny 2 this week.
Yeah, I played a lot of Destiny. It was there was a lot of it, and I played a lot of it. We played some Scourge of the Past, which is one of the raids that came out during the Forsaken year, and it was really fun. Josh Finney and my friend Mitch and Center and Nerd Journalist and Colonel Panic all helped with that raid, and it was really fun. It was really nice to get back into some raiding. And it's kind of cool because, like, this group is mostly dads, so they all just kind of, like, are willing to help and not, freak out if you mess up or anything, because we all only have a couple hours a week to play. And I think we might try to do something tonight as well. I'm not 100% sure, but it was really fun. I forgot how much fun raids were and how much teamwork it requires, and just kind of communication and everything. And this was Thursday night. We started the raid at 9:30, and I went to bed at almost 2:00. But I mean, this was a good raid for people who have never raided before. I really feel like, because the mechanics are challenging enough, but they're not super overly complicated. A lot of the things don't require everybody to be 100% on point, but it gets you used to learning raid mechanics. And I think if anybody who hasn't raided before wanted to raid, this would be the one to start with. So
Yeah,
I've
other than
never.
that like thing that we were trying to do all the jump stuff to run to the end, I think that's the closest thing to a raid that I've done.
yeah, and a lot of that stuff is not even like that is hard, but that would be more of that's just like a challenge. It's not even
Yeah, yeah.
like there aren't even really raid mechanics in there. I think the closest thing to a raid mechanic in that would be the
The end of
part
it.
where the robot chases you around the room and
Oh,
you have
okay.
to hit the levers and stuff. That would be like
Yeah.
the closest thing to a raid mechanic in there.
Yeah.
But this is like, okay, you have to we separated into 3 teams of 2. Like this is the very first thing you do in this raid. This is just to get into where the raid actually takes place.
Yeah.
You have to there's like this big map on top of this building, and Josh and I were on top of I was the protector, so I was like covering Josh while he was reading the map. And then the other 4 people in our group teamed off into 2 teams of 2, and you had to deliver these orbs to very specific points on the map, and they were timed. And to get the orbs, you had to punch this very specific enemy at the same time, one on his back and one on his front, and you had to hit him, and then he would drop the orb, and then you had to carry the orbs to the point and then come back with another set of orbs and dunk them into the container that was up by the map. So it was like Josh was calling out, okay, you need to go to point 2, team 1 go to point 2, team 2 go to point 4 or whatever. And like before the encounter started, we all kind of walked around the map to see like, okay, this building here is point 1, this little crevice here, this is point 2, this apartment complex is point 3. Like, you know what I mean? We had to like, it was really,
Strategize.
yeah, it was really like, oh man, I can't believe we get to do this again type thing.
Having stuff planned out, and I think that's what is great about multiplayer. When you got a big team like that, everybody's working together.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of, I mean,
the Tad. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, a lot of people like the PvP stuff. Like Trials of Osiris is a big thing that people like, where you have to work as a team to fight the other team, obviously. But for me, and I think for a lot of other people, like the PvE stuff is the stuff that draws you into Destiny, and the raids are. This just solidified that the raids and the dungeons and just the little side puzzles are the best parts of Destiny, where you have to work as a team and you all have to be on point and you all have to communicate, and that is the best part of Destiny.
Everybody's working to make progress, and you see the results that come from that. It's really good. I don't play a lot of Destiny. I'm guilty of that, but like I love hearing you, Corey, talk about it when people are working together, because it gives me an idea. And I'm just like, that's so much fun, and the experience you get out of it is amazing.
Yeah, and in this one raid is like one of the best exotics around right now, called Anarchy, and did Ed freeze?
Oh.
I think Ed froze.
No.
Oh no, he's there.
No.
He's there. Okay. There's this one in this raid. There's this one very specific weapon that you can pull out because after each encounter, there's a chest that you open. And you get a piece of gear, like a weapon or like a helmet or something. I got a helmet, which in a Titan mark, which is fine, right? I'm like, I don't care. I just wanted to run the raid.
What you running as? Are you running that side?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The picture that you showed me, right?
What?
The one he was like all white and stuff.
Yeah.
Or silver. Okay. I didn't know if you changed his design or anything.
Well, it depends on the armor and stuff. And this weekend, Jesse, also if you're on later or whatever, we can try to do some stuff. But there's 2 very specific exotic weapons that I would like to try to get, and one is called Whisper of the Worm, and it's a really awesome high damage sniper rifle for raids.
Okay.
It's the taken enemies, the kind of black shadowy enemies that kind of look like all the rest of the enemies, just black and shadowy.
Yeah, the ones that can kind of like disappear
Yeah.
and like teleport or whatever.
Yeah, the Whisper of the Worm is a sniper rifle that has that aesthetic to it.
Oh,
And it
okay.
looks really cool. So that
Huh.
is one I would like to get. I would like to get Outbreak Perfected as well, which is the one that we've been trying to get for months and haven't gotten.
Yeah.
Which Josh said he would help both of us get it, and my friend
Okay.
Mitch said he would help too. So I
Okay.
don't know if we have to like run separate teams because they're way higher light levels than us. So it would probably be smart for us to go with them, like one of us to go with them, and then the other one go with them.
Yeah.
So that's, man, Destiny is a. I always like when you don't do some of this stuff for a long time, you just kind of forget that it's like, oh yeah, I'm just shooting stuff. I'm hanging out with my friends, playing the game, whatever, doing some of those story missions and stuff. Which I still need to finish this week's story mission, because this season every week there's a new story mission that you have to
Yeah.
do, or you're not getting the story. But yeah, we're gonna try to run all the raids for the rest of the year. We're gonna try to run some of the extra stuff, the dungeons for sure. So yeah, it's awesome, man. Oh, I also ran Pit of Heresy this week.
Oh,
with
nice.
with Willow and one of his teammates. So that was one of the dungeons, which is basically a 3-man raid.
Is that the one you were playing last night?
No, last night was Scourge of the Past.
Thursday?
Wait, last night? What's that? I didn't.
Yeah, because that was the one where you were on there was that point where you guys were all.
That was Thursday.
That was Thursday.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, last
Yeah.
night we recorded Pow Block.
How about? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
that
that was the raid.
Yeah.
Pit of Heresy is one of the dungeons from.
Where you guys kept on burning up in that one area because
Yeah.
I watched for a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to like drive your sparrows. Or
Yeah, there's
whatever.
this one point in Scourge of the Past where you have to sprint through the ventilation systems of the underground, and you have to open the doors, but there's also like a wall of fire that's chasing you through this area, and it was a really bad time trying to get through there. And then I was like, let me switch sparrows real quick because I think I have a faster one, and the one I picked was not the faster one. And then it's so back heavy that I went to make this jump, and it just like, instead of just gliding over, it just went blop, and I got stuck in between this hole in the bridges, and fire consumed me. So
Would you guys all laughing
yeah,
and stuff?
yeah,
Yeah,
it was funny. Like it was funny, so it was a good time. But
I will say that at the end of the month, I'm going to go ahead and buy Beyond Light, get that pre-order and stuff, get all of that ready. I wonder. I got to see if I still need to. I think I need to buy Forsaken, because I don't know if I do buy Beyond Light. Do I have to?
that I think in theory that should be free by then, right?
I'm not.
I don't
sure
know how that works.
Yeah, well, no, they're taking a lot of that stuff away.
Oh yeah, that's right. So when you buy the new expansion, I would imagine it would just update the game.
Yeah, because
you would think, because isn't it more expensive this time around for this one?
No, it's 40. It's only 40.
Oh, okay.
But if you want the seasonal stuff, it's 80. But
I just probably want like the 40 stuff.
yeah, if you just want the campaign and the raids and stuff, it's only 40.
Oh,
yeah, because because I know Destiny's been updating, and I haven't finished the last DLC before Forsaken. I need to finish it though. I think the problem I was having with it is that it doesn't give me good direction. Like navigation stuff, I have a problem with the navigation system in Destiny. Like there's no arrows or anything that leads you on what your next thing needs to be when you're doing a mission. It's very weird because I'll play it and I'll be at a point and then like it won't say nothing, and I feel lost. And I'm like, did it bug out or anything, or I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've changed a little bit of that, but like, because now as long as you highlight like whatever objective that you want to do, you highlight, like you click on it to make it the main like goal that you're following, and then like it should show you like if you're in the map and there's a certain place you have to go or whatever, then you highlight that place, and then it will like illuminate a little like marker that you just try to drive towards. Like you try to just basically maneuver your way towards wherever you need to go. But like usually, yeah, if you're following like something in your objective like menu part, it usually will have an icon or something on the planet that you need to go to, and then then from there then it will kind of show you where you need to go, and then you just can drive towards basically that icon. So it doesn't like do like the whole like waypoint, like like some games where like it literally has like arrows on the ground that show you how to get there. But I feel like for the most part it's not too bad. And like there is just one thing too, like Corey talking about rating and stuff like that, and like him explaining how the rating and stuff in Destiny is like what you really look forward to. I think that like just thinking about it like that's why Siege was so like why I still love Siege. I don't play it as much, but I think that's why I love that game over everything else so much, is because it was more than just shooting things. It was, you had to, like make sure you're setting up equipment here, and like you really had to actually work together to get anywhere, and like you had to strategize how you were going to use your equipment and where you were going to use your equipment, and which characters would be best for this section of this map, and what like it was so much deeper than just, oh, he has a good gun, like it was all about like really about how well you could use the operator, and like what operator would be best for a certain situation or a certain room, or like I'd love to go back to Siege again because that game is just too much fun. But I think that's why I loved that, and it just appealed to me so much more, because like some days like all I want to do is just play like a Halo multiplayer or something where I just know what I'm doing, or Destiny, just playing Destiny, even just regular, going around and just shooting things. But I'm glad that there's games like like the Destiny rating stuff, or like Siege, like that give you a much deeper like experience than just the basics of just shooting things or whatever, and trying to have more kills than someone else or whatever, like that's since things like Siege and stuff and Destiny and things like that, since I've gotten into that stuff a little bit more, I've honestly like less and less have I cared about the Call of Duty multiplayer stuff, and I honestly now it's gotten to the point of where I care more about the campaign in Call of Duty games, because I don't necessarily like depend on the Call of Duty games to be where I go to play multiplayer as much anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to jump in. What I've been playing, then I'll pass it over to you, Jesse.
Okay, that's all right. I wasn't playing anything else, Ed. That's cool.
Destiny was a big thing that you played.
It was.
Did you play any Okami?
No, I did not.
No, Corey has not even started book club yet. I'm just like, oh wait, that's unfair. I started everybody else's book club thing. Why can't no one start mine?
I'm
nobody
like
likes
two and
you,
a half
man.
hours in.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Haha. Lol.
Are you ever going to start Okami?
I will. I'll get there.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. No,
Please.
no, I'm gonna get there. No, I was just gonna say that I was also playing a little bit of River City Girls, which is really fun. Side scrolling beat
Yes.
'em up. So that's all. Sorry, Ed.
I keep forgetting that. I'm like, oh, he talked all about this on Power Black. I'm like, oh, I forgot we did Power Black yesterday. The
Yeah.
episode's not out yet. So, well, I'm okay. So for me, The Last of Us Part Two, I'm giving it to this Wednesday. If I do not beat this game or this game don't end by Wednesday, by me playing hours upon hours, I'm shoving it. I'm gonna write the review and I'm gonna have it out because I need to be ready for Paper Mario and
How
Ghost of
many
Tsushima.
how many fake endings have you been through yet?
I've been through 6. I'm
I've
like,
been hearing people talk about how it's just like after like the fourth fake ending, people are just like, okay, I'm ready for this game to be done now.
it
Like
is
you've
not.
tricked me so many times at this point that it's just frustrating.
They do so many time jumps and exception moments, and it's just like, come on, all of this stuff is not necessary. Let me get to what I need to get to and finish this game.
Yeah. Well,
So
but a lot of people say though, like that the ending is it paid off. I mean, so I'm hoping that's the same for you, that you do end up really enjoying the ending, because like it's a shame. It sounds like an amazing game from what I've heard. I personally, it's not something I'm interested in, but
mm,
I mean, who knows? Maybe someday I even give it a try. But um,
it has its horror aspects, and
yeah,
technically it's very beautiful and it
yeah,
plays great. Is that
yeah, it
I'm
looks
not
amazing.
right? That I'm not denouncing. It just gets a little bit repetitive and tedious, and it's just like, let's move this along. Let's end this game. Stop trying to. It's this Uncharted 4 problem and even Uncharted 2 problem that I have, and maybe just an Uncharted problem. Dragging this mess too long. This is unnecessary filler that we do not need. It doesn't make sense. Like literally, part 2 could have been a whole nother game, which has Abby and probably her whole adventure, and that needed to be it. You really didn't need Ellie or Joe really in this game. You could have just did Abby, let that be part 2, and then part 3, put Ellie's adventure in, and then call it a game, and then
Heck,
end it.
heck, honestly, like I think what would be really cool for that game, just from like what I've heard people talk about, and like kind of what you're saying now, is like they should maybe think about possibly doing something similar to the like the story games, like where you've got like different episodes and things like that, like they could easily do like a thing where like they could like they could release a new episode like every week, like after the full game's made, like like do something
It's
similar to that. But
it's so long that it doesn't need an episode. It doesn't need no more episode. It don't. It's so long it don't need DLC. That's how long this
well,
game.
no, I'm not saying like
I mean,
DLC, but like
I
I
mean,
mean the game,
I mean,
like if the game, the way they had it was like episodic almost.
it's the way that it feels at parts. It is episodic, but
Yeah,
they do that. But somebody in the head time jump to the
yeah,
next section of the story. Someone falls through something, or someone falls asleep. Time jump, and they keep doing the time jump thing that way to get to progressing the story. But it's just like from what they started out with, it's just like this is good, but a lot of this stuff is unnecessary. You could have told one character side story, and
Mhm.
then save everything else completely for a whole nother game. Like literally, it's pretty much it feels like the first section is 15 plus hours already, and
Yeah.
then starting the second thing is another 15 plus hours, and it seems that when you get to what should have been the ending, I think that's another 10 hours. Like this game is ridiculously long, and you just be like, I already did this encounter, why I gotta do this again? Why am I still doing the same beats over and over?
Yeah, because isn't there like there's a little bit of backtracking or something in
It's
it?
no,
But
it's not. It's not really backtracking. There's places that is kind of open worldish, so you could go
yeah,
to a
yeah,
store and steal some things, or find a code and go to another store and stuff like that before
yeah.
like the mission even starts and everything.
No,
So
like there's one thing that I heard that's like a little like a tip or a trick that they talked about on I think it was on Beastcast or something, but like no one on the show knew this. Like I think it was Abby had said it that because the whole thing with that game is there's safes you got to open or whatever,
mhm.
and you don't need the codes to open them. You can actually if you're using headphones, you can hear the clicking noise, and you can actually just figure it out by waiting for the click. Like if you were a hacker trying to hack into a safe without a code. So like and like the rest of the guys on the show are like, wait, what? So yeah, you can actually, if you're using headphones, I guess apparently you can actually hear the clicking noise when the little pin drops inside the safe. So like it's just a little tip or a trick thing that I heard about. That's kind of cool.
But the thing about this is that you got to go through like 60 plus some numbers just for that one thing to hear something that's so small. And because the sound the sound of other stuff is coming out, like you can hear wind and water and your character talk and everything. It's really hard to like listen to a little click sound when there's so much covering up that sound. So if you can do that, good on you. It's pretty much like if you find a clue a little steps over, if you turn it back, you be like, oh, that's the answer, and then you go and solve it. So, so that's The Last of Us Part 2. Be on the lookout for a review, probably following next week. And I will fully put my thoughts about it. And I'm going to leave that at there. And of course, Okami HD. I've been streaming it. I played it like it's 5 o'clock this morning. Before I went to bed. Even while texting you, Jesse.
Yeah.
I was playing it. They're making more progress and stuff. So I'm halfway done with the game. But
How
I got
long is the game
about now that you can skip some of the dialogue, about 35 hours. 35 hours.
Holy crap.
Yeah. When it first came out, it was 40 plus. Because you
Oh.
couldn't skip anything. You literally had to read all the dialogue. It gets short. It gets shorter. Once you know what you're doing, the dungeons are not too long, and there's not too many fights and stuff. It's just like a lot of story plots and dialogue stuff.
Yeah,
for it.
that's the thing is like never having played it before. Like I have like no clue like where I'm supposed to be going or like. Yeah, no, like and
it'll show you. It'll give you hints on what you need to, because a lot of that stuff be like the important stuff is in red, and then everything else is just filler and everything. It will probably take you a week to beat, depending on what your schedule is and how much time you put into it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is I haven't had a whole lot of time to stick into it every day, but I've been trying to like. Because I've been streaming on my Twitch, playing some stuff. I'm trying to at least 1 hour a day, or 1 hour in a day that I have free time, like try to stream a little bit. And so I'm playing through all the Dead Space games. I'm gonna play through all those eventually. So I started the first one, but
did you get those off EA Access or do you own them?
I think I own 1 and 2, but 3 I think I have off of EA Access. I don't remember though.
Yeah,
It
'cause
might be
I
possible
don't
that I just got them from that.
I don't know if 3 is backwards. Is all 3 of them
Yeah, no,
backwards?
all
Yeah.
3 of them. Yep.
Yeah,
They are okay. I
They're
know I
all
have
on-
1 and 2.
they're all on EA Access anyway.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
that's
that's
the only
right. I
reason.
downloaded Heat. I
Yeah,
still need to play that again.
all of
Need
the
for Speed
Crisis
Heat's
games
on there now.
just got added there too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, all 3 of them. I
Oh.
just went to my I just turned my Xbox on to download them.
Oh
that
man, those are
remaster-
such good games.
That remaster's coming to everything, so including Switch. So on July
Yeah,
23rd.
yeah.
So
I thought they delayed it to September
it's a July 23rd.
for the Crisis one.
Yeah.
They delayed that.
No, they delayed Kingdoms of Amalur.
No, they did.
I literally
also.
I literally just read this on Nintendo Life yesterday.
Hmm.
So unless they delayed
Yeah,
it in the
because
last 12
with,
hours.
I'm with Ed. I thought.
Right,
I guess
because
Don't worry,
they-
Crisis Remastered is still coming to Nintendo Switch on July 23rd. This was yesterday at 10:55 p.m.
Wrong camera.
Right. So we're going to get the janky version because when they bought Crisis, when they showcased the first thing, EA and Crytek got a whole bunch of disgruntled people, and they said that we're delaying this game until September.
Well, yeah, maybe does it say specifically the remaster is coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
That
remaster's
date? Oh, okay.
The remaster is coming.
No, I
but
mean
they
that's
delayed-
what that headline said.
No, it
is
said
the remaster.
Crytek
Is it just the
decided
original?
It didn't say September. It says Crytek decided to delay the game by quote a few weeks.
Oh, okay.
So it was supposed to come out, I think, at the end of June.
June,
So I mean,
and
3
they
weeks,
delayed.
3 weeks is
Oh, okay.
probably okay for a performance thing.
Right, I thought they because I thought they delayed it a little bit further until September.
Mm-mm.
Because of all the backlash they got.
I don't care. I'm probably not going to get it now that they're here on EA Access. I mean, there's no point, really.
We'll
Plus,
see.
plus
I have
I'm
a
almost
feeling
I'm almost out of space between The Witcher and like all these indie games I've been dabbling into lately.
Well, honestly,
Switch.
the thing is the Crisis game. It's not worth playing until the new generation of consoles are out, and if it gets a upgrade, that's honestly where to play it.
I don't know. It has software-based ray tracing in it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, at least on the
Oh,
Xbox One X and PS4 Pro versions. So,
okay.
Well, yeah, but that's pretty much what I've been playing. So, Jesse, what you been getting down to?
So yeah, like I said, I did start Okami. I just got to the point of where there's like a puzzle thing you kind of had to solve to get like that little plant or whatever to grow,
Yeah.
and then kind of clear out some of the area and like turn it back into normal.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's where I am. It's like 2 hours. Like I said, it took me 2 hours to get to that point. I mean, I'm sure it probably took you only an hour or something, but because you got if you've played it before and you kind of know what you're doing. But yeah, I've been playing that, and then like I said, I've been streaming. You know, when I can, usually like around 1 o'clock my time. Central Time. I've been streaming an hour to an hour and a half of like a game or whatever, and like I said, I've been kind of wanting to go back to the Dead Space games again and play them through because it's been quite a while, and so I've been doing that. And man, that first game is still so good.
The first Dead Space. I might
good.
just start it back again. Start it back up.
Yeah.
Because I know where I'm at, but I'm just like I might as well just start fresh so I could play it on
Yeah, because see, that's the same with me. I had a save that was like, like a good chunk into the game already. But
Mm.
I'm like, well, if I'm gonna stream it, I'd rather just start it from the beginning again, and and then that way I can just kind of do it as episodic, things of me playing through all the games. So, and I think I'll start two after I'm done with one, but who knows? When the time comes, I might like to, do something in between. But yeah, I just want to try to get something going on my Twitch page, just because I have it, and I do enjoy playing those kind of games, and if I can stream, might as well just stream them. I figure
Hmm.
while I'm playing, because you know worst case scenario, no one watches, but I'm still playing it and having fun. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if people want to watch, it's there for them to watch. So, and then I also played the Clubhouse. Been playing the Clubhouse games on Switch and stuff still. Um, like playing that Battle Tanks. Battle Tanks is fun. Like there's a lot of games like that where I've been doing where like when you play it, it says you play easy mode,
Hmm.
then normal mode, and then hard mode, and then impossible mode, and like I think I've beaten all of the modes on Battle Tanks. What was the other one I was playing that was like the impossible mode was just like, man, there's no crap, basically like bubble and all those kinds of games, like where you have to connect the three of a color for it to disappear. There's one of those kind of games in it where like where you connect a 3 or 4 or whatever, like it's marbles though, like they drop down in a triangle, and then when it lands wherever, then they'll break up and fall to their place.
Hmm.
And it's like you have to verse the computer, and it's like Tetris where you're trying to make the other person's fill all the way up, and so they lose. And the expert or the impossible mode of that is, dude,
Impossible.
I'm already not good at that game, and it's like I'll be like, okay, oh, nice, I can get a line here, drop it, and next thing you know, like he sends like half of his screen full of things into mine, and next thing you know, like my whole thing is almost full. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like this is not fair, because it's the computer has been given the code as to what every single pattern that's going to come up in the next like 20 drops, and so it knows exactly where to put everything, because how else is it doing it that quickly and just like filling up its entire thing and then sending it all over to me all at once? It's like, this is insane. But so yeah, I just love that game. It's such a great collection of just like fun little games to play. The kids love it. Like it has a very, very decent replacement for Wii Sports Bowling on it, that works pretty good. There's some, it's still got its issues with the release and stuff like that. Like, there was some of those issues with the original Wii Sports Bowling and stuff as well, where sometimes it didn't always want to release, or like when you pull it back, it wouldn't recognize it perfectly, things like that. So there's those issues, but it's still really fun. And then like I don't know, there's so many games on there, but I like the mini curling and playing 9-ball and stuff like that, the pool. And I haven't played darts yet. I want to try the darts though, but I've been waiting to play that when I actually have the Joy-Con in my hand, because I think you gotta do like you'd be throwing a dart. So it's similar to the whole bowling aspect, but
Yeah,
what
I
you're
think
doing.
it's time. I think it's time for me to get some new Joy Cons.
Yeah, I got my new ones, and like now, basically the original ones just stay clipped onto it for the most part.
Hmm.
When it's in dock, and then when it's not, when it's out of the dock, I'll switch on my new Joy Cons, or I switch on my new Joy Cons every once in a while to make sure that they stay charged.
Nice.
So,
Well,
but I think. Oh, there was one other game. There's a million games that I honestly could talk about because we haven't done this in like forever.
I know.
Um,
yeah.
but like I finally, I think I might have talked about this at some point, but I finally wanted to try that Deep Rock Galactica game.
Hmm.
That it's like a mining game, but it's almost like not really Overwatch, but like you've got different kinds of mining characters that have their own abilities and traits and things like that.
Yes.
And so like it's kind of, like a raid or something where you want a person to have this kind of, like outfit or suit or armor or whatever, and you want this person to have this thing so you can, like just get your, like the peak performance of mining, like really quickly and doing the things. But it's like almost like a mix between Minecraft and like Dig Dug or something. Like there, like you've got to like dig through all the, like chip your way through mines, and there's, certain gems and stones like that you want to collect that are different colors that are inside the the mine walls and stuff, like, because it's just like if you were to imagine just being like thrown way deep down into a world in Minecraft, that's completely, everything is made out of block, and you just happen to dig your way through, like just break your way through all the bricks and stuff like that to get anywhere, like, and open up other caverns and things like that. Like that's basically what this game is. It's really fun, actually. Like honestly, I was having a lot of fun, and then like they've got big spider creatures and stuff that you got to fight off, and there's really cool, like your character can like set up like you launch a rope like thing into a wall, and then you can set up like a zip line, so
Yeah.
you can use zip lines to kind of go up and down terrain, and it's honestly, it's a lot of fun, and it's like super easy, like entry level. I mean, I've heard some people like there's a big community like around it of people that love playing it. I just wanted to give it a try because I've always, since it got announced like years ago on the Xbox showcase thing or whatever, I always thought it looked interesting. So I finally gave it a try because it was on sale for pretty cheap. So, but yeah, that's, I think, pretty much for the most part, that's what I've been playing.
Nice.
All right. Well, everybody, that is going to be the show. Hopefully, everybody had a good week. Have a good
Already?
weekend. Ate some good lunch and everything. There are some shows that you guys should check out. The 1v1 that Corey has done with Willow on Towers Casual. Not on Towers Casual, but he did 1v1 with Destiny player Willow, so you guys can check that out. You guys can check out Arsenal X and Towers Casual episodes this past week, or if you guys are watching this live this week, And check out the new episode for Nintendo Power Block. We do have a new rundown of show schedules. So Corey, do you want to go ahead and tell them about it? Just a reminder.
Yeah, I mean, for now, I think we're still going to play around with it a little bit, but for now, it's this show, Boss Rush Podcast, on Mondays. Pow Block is moving back to Tuesdays. We're still going to record on Thursdays, but it's just we want to do a couple things with editing them, and it also gives me a little bit more time to edit the shows and everything since we kind of do so much. So Arsenal X is going to stay on Wednesdays. The Tower Casuals will be on Thursdays. That's the show that's kind of like the what are we going to do with it type thing. When are we going to record it? Because of this new seasonal model, they update the game during the week now. Like the weekly reset on Destiny is Tuesdays, but they also drop updates on Thursdays and on the weekend now. And if we record on Thursdays, we might be able to, I don't know, cover some of that stuff as well. But I don't know. Josh and I are still trying to figure that out. But for now, Tower Casuals will be on Thursdays, and then 1v1 will be Fridays. So, yeah.
Yes. So, with that, everybody, Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS, and also I think I have it on my Twitter account. You can go to my SoundCloud and listen to some of my music and stuff that I make there. Otherwise, Corey streams it a lot of the time while he's playing games. So
yeah, I will usually just stream Jesse's music. Anything you hear on the streams when I'm playing a game, it's 99% of the time it's Jesse's music. So, or the Talking Games with Reggie and Harold podcast that pops up after the playlists are over.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I'm just like all of a sudden I'll just hear Reggie's voice. I'm like, oh no, we gotta change it.
Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me at Corey HD on Twitch, and you can find me on a variety of shows here on Boss Rush Games. I do really want to push Tower Casuals a little bit just because it's our newer show. So if you are into Destiny, Josh Finney helps me out with that, and we will probably have some sort of rotating third chair on that show of guests. So check it out.
Yes. You guys can find me on Twitter at that retro code. You can also check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps. Check me around here on Boss Rush Games. Check out some of our writings on our website. And just check me out on other podcasts here on Boss Rush. Like you'll see me on some 1v1s, Nintendo Power Block, some retro game shows, some pod and plays. Yeah, you'll find me around in that space, I should say.
Oh my
Wow.
God, that was scary.
I did not expect
I
it.
didn't mean to do that, but it did.
So, so everybody have a great week, have a great weekend, and as always, let's continue to play games and be better to one another. With that, we will see you next time on Boss Rush Podcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.